Kyiv locals put Ukraine's defeat into context after World Cup near miss. Watching football in downtown Kyiv turns out to be a more unusual experience than standing at the back of the sweaty rammed bars of back home. Wales' 1-0 victory is greeted with a subdued stoicism by the locals and, of course, there is a war on, which sets the football experience in a different context. You learn that as soon as you start talking anybody watching. It turns out that the first fan I turned to for a post-game reaction, Alexander, 25, works for a morgue in the country's second city of Kharkiv and is in Kyiv for the weekend. 6 bodies arrive a day in the facility, including Russian soldiers who are exchanged for Ukrainian dead. He offers to show me pictures, which I immediately decline. All of which sets the result of the football match that has just ended in a slightly different context. It would be brilliant if we had won, Alexander reasons, but it does not matter that we lost. We played well, and anyway what matters is that we will win the war. It is hard to argue for the primacy of football given what else is going on. Many people have left the capital behind at the war enters its 4th month, but Kyiv on Sunday night is lively enough for the moment. A few dozen fans and other assorted diners gathered in Porter's pub in the heart of a warm and sunny capital, mostly keeping a cool eye on proceedings from their tables, only reserving shouts and jeers on the rare occasions Ukraine gets close to the penalty box. The own goal by Andriy Yarmolenko from a Gareth Bale free kick in the middle of the first half does little to help the mood. Nevertheless, one of the fans watching, Vladislav, 25, is quickly able to rationalize the situation as we discuss the state of the play at halftime. Dressed casually, he says he has been fighting on the front lines in the 3-month war, although tonight he is off duty and he and a friend mean to head off and their girlfriends later. Wales, he says, are too reliant on the one-time Real Madrid superstar, Vladislav observes, and that while yes, he is a world-class player, Ukraine are the better team. This, Vladislav adds, embodies a military philosophy where to win a war you have to work together to win, although when we spoke it looked as if Ukraine were struggling to break down the Wales defense. It would mean so much to win, no other country deserves more to go to the World Cup. I think everybody here thinks we have to be there, Vladislav adds in response to the obvious question. It is hard to argue with this, although I gamely point out that Wales are already 1-0 ahead. This doesn't mean anything, Real Madrid were behind with 5 minutes to go and it feels good to talk about footballing matters, even if the prediction turns out to be faulty. The situation becomes tougher in the second half as the TV feed freezes on several occasions, forcing the committed to watch or listen to the match on their phones. It is not obvious why, and nobody seems overtly to mind, although one broadcaster, UL, had its feed taken down by Russian hackers mid-game, who replaced it with Russian separatist news from the breakaway region of Donetsk. Hacker attack, the TV commentator Viktor Vatsko said on the channels, where the service was not interrupted, before telling the Russians to burn in hell, the sort of anger that does not take long to come to the fore when chatting to any Ukrainian about their take on the war. Kyiv has not been in the front line for several weeks now, and the city, which had a population of over 3 million before the war, does not feel obviously dangerous, even allowing for the first airstrikes in just over 5 weeks overnight. People largely ignore air raid sirens on their daily business, although its bars, many of which have reopened after the most dangerous weeks, when the Russian troops were out the outskirts of the city, remain half full at best. A curfew, which begins at 11 a.m. and runs until 5 a.m. in practice forces the locals to go home from 9 p.m., so it was a relief the match started at 7 p.m. and that there was no danger of penalties.